Check, check.
All right.
We good? Yeah. No.
Let me
Good?
turn this starting soon scene off real quick. Starting.
Check 1, 2.
Is it this one?
Where's your
yeah,
hat?
There we go.
Dude. Yeah. Are we
Hat?
live? Are we live? Because I want to talk about this.
Yes, we're live.
Hat. Like, what is this? 2, 3 bets in a row. And every time it's by one.
Oh, yeah.
And by every time, I feel like my point was correct. I just set the line off by one because I was making the correct point.
You
that
should
he's
go
not
back a
gonna
couple
get
of
that many
seasons.
carries.
You should go back a couple of seasons and watch the episodes and watch some of our bets play out. Crybaby.
This is
Whatever.
true. This is true. Not that he's crying, but that there was a lot of just like, just
there was
like,
just
There was a
like,
whole
I'm
bunch of
making a
times
point.
where I was like, I was upset the next week talking about the bet because I had given him a line that I knew that I didn't like, and then it lost by exactly that amount. So I have no sympathy for you. Wear your hat.
I knew you wouldn't have any sympathy, but I'm just saying my point was correct.
Man,
They
bet against Nick Chubb.
underemphasized him, and they gave him 4 attempts at the goal line.
Yeah.
4 attempts. Like, that's the one part I saw and I went, God damn it, I lost because of that. And sure enough, like if he would have got in 1, got in 2, I win. Took him 4
No,
attempts.
because he had 14 opportunities. 14 or 15, something.
No,
like
he had
that.
11
carries.
11
But
carries,
he had
1 catch.
He also had 4 targets.
Well, we weren't counting targets. That's not a touch.
Did we say touches?
Absolutely.
let me see. Let me
Yeah,
look.
targets wouldn't be included.
Hat bet 11 or more. Ken wins hat bet. Yeah, I didn't put touches or targets.
Interesting. Good thing it doesn't matter.
So,
But he
Ken,
did that in the first half.
I know.
He had 10 carries in
And
the
then
first
they
half.
rested him, like I was saying. They would, but anyway.
So I need
won't this
your
week.
DraftKings score is the only thing I'm lacking.
It was 129 and change.
I completely forget how I did.
So how we doing, everybody? Starting
Good
on
morning.
fire.
Is Bezzy there?
Yeah, Bezzy's here.
What's up,
Bezzy?
dude? Good morning.
But so I guess I'll just start off for Homer Minute while you guys are doing your paperwork. Rams won 2 more since the last time we've went live. That puts us at 3 and 4, and I think it's a really tight race in that division.
Yep.
If we win, let's say like all that we had left was 2 games, and it was just the divisional games, and we won those 2, we'd be in the playoffs because we won our division. So it's still a tight race to the playoffs in that division. We may not lose. We may not get a wild card, but we may win the division and get in divisionally. So just win out the division and let football be football, and I think we'll be good. We'll be in an okay spot. So
And you guys look good.
yeah, we got Nakua back.
Oh
We
my
beat the
God.
Vikings.
Like, your offense was turned around. You look great. Did you hear the rumors going around about the quarterbacks?
About trading.
Yeah, I did hear them, but I didn't.
I didn't make anything
Yeah.
out of that at all.
No, unless the Rams lose. If the Rams lose that game, then maybe. I don't know. Then it almost makes sense for both teams. But the way it went just doesn't matter.
Because we won those 2 games, we're still playoff
Could you imagine Stafford and Jefferson together?
possible.
That would be fun.
Jesus.
My score was 122.18.
I got yours. I didn't get
129.88.
129.8. So that this week goes to Ken.
Finally.
And that's
Yeah,
funny
yeah, it is
because,
your first
Those were
week.
great scores. We're only in the 120s, and look, like we're towards the top. Scores were really weird last week. There was a few people that scored really
there was
well.
a disappointing
and if you didn't
game.
have them,
What was the game that disappointed? Was it Detroit and Minnesota? Like fantasy wise?
I think there was one that was
fine.
worse than that.
So last week in DraftKings, I put I want to say I put 16 games out there. 16 games, I want to say.
Okay.
And the way I spread it out for the cash games, I don't do all of my eggs in one basket or whatever. and I do the 1 versus 3, not the head-to-head, right? So it makes the money count a little bit bigger.
Right.
And I lost a majority of my games, but still was up $8. So just kind of goes to show, like, my
Volume.
strategy kind of worked.
Volume. But
yeah.
that is the strategy. There's this book that I've read. It's called, actually, not Fantasy Life. That's the Matthew Berry one. Let me see what it's called.
If my count keeps going up, then I'll start doing like $2 games at that same rate. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But right now it's just I play the dollar games, 1 versus 3, throw it out there, and I just gradually let them grow that way.
It's called Dueling with Kings. It's by Daniel Barbarisi, and he was a writer. He was a beat writer for the Mets, I think, and he decided to quit writing and start playing fantasy football or fantasy sports in general. And like, he had a friend who was one of the people that algorithms out these things, and so he described in great detail. If anybody's curious, anybody who might be listening right now is curious, Dueling with Kings, like if you've ever been interested on aggregating out your fantasy game, you want to expand on it, you want to do more, that's the way to learn how to do it. That book will give you the blueprint.
Nice.
My Cowboys didn't do anything last week, so we didn't lose, which is good. We've got the 49ers this weekend.
How do you feel about it?
Better now that all of their guys are injured.
Gives you a chance, huh?
We got a chance. I still don't feel great about it, though. I still just don't. I don't.
Yeah.
Their defense has been so bad, and there's no Micah. There's no, like, we lost Marshawn Nealon, the rookie who was playing well, who I was against drafting. I'll admit that. I was against drafting him. I wanted Jonathan Brooks. I wanted Adonai Mitchell. I wanted a weapon on offense. But he was good, but he's injured. So still no Lawrence. Still no Deron Bland. So yeah, I'm scared still. I'm scared of the 49ers.
But you had the bye week to get ready, and maybe the preparation is a little bit extra for you. Who knows?
It is. I almost felt bad for my 49er fan at home.
Right.
Because I looked at the schedule, and the 49ers had the Chiefs coming off of a bye, and Andy Reid has like one career loss after the bye. It is absurd. And now they get the Cowboys coming off a bye, and Dak, for all his faults, is excellent coming off of byes. So it sets up well for us. They had a really tough week last weekend. They're trying to get into their bye week next week. It's the perfect time to catch them. So this is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, take
for the
advantage.
Cowboys. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now tell us about that Russell Wilson.
Oh man, that was so much fun. Not for the first quarter, that's for sure.
So
first quarter looked bad. I was just like, oh boy,
he was
and
rusty.
the Steelers,
Yeah, the first two series.
Yeah.
Actually, he skipped one over to Pickens on a. It was a short screen. It wasn't even like a route. It was like, but you know what? When I looked at it the second time, I actually thought maybe he did it on purpose. Because he knew the play wasn't going to go anywhere, didn't want to get him hit, and just threw the ball at the ground.
Yeah. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Considering how well he played afterwards,
Yeah.
it's possible. Like if Russ is going to play like that, you guys are going to be hard to beat.
Absolutely. God, it felt good. Yeah, once he and Pickens started to get that connection together, I still think we need another piece.
You mean like Deontay Johnson?
Yes. we really need Deontay Johnson right now. But we don't need his attitude. So, you know what I mean? He was obviously deemed one of those guys that's a problem in the locker room, and so he got shipped out.
Yeah, you don't want like
that's something that's worked for
demoralization
us
happening
over
in the
the-
locker room before you even step out on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So who would you trade for?
I wanted Hopkins.
You did?
I did. I thought Hopkins would be a beautiful compliment.
You wouldn't rather have Cup?
Oh, sure, that'd be great, but I didn't think
That was the other one I saw. Was
Throw it out there. Yeah, there's no Cup.
Cup,
Keep
Cooper
Cup.
Cup going to
Just keep Cup for a
Pittsburgh.
little bit,
There
a
was,
season or
like,
two more.
Some
That
posts
would have
out
had to
there
been
with him
some
in the
higher
Pittsburgh jersey.
compensation.
Am I?
I don't know.
Do I have a delay? Do I sound?
You guys say that every time, or almost every time. It's just,
there.
and you know what? Maybe
Well,
the
sometimes
electronics
it's
are
worse than
cold. I
others.
don't know.
Sometimes
Maybe
it's worse than others. And
it could.
and-
And I'm learning a little bit more about temperatures and stuff because I have to take my laptop to work every now and then, and I'm like, I don't want to take it out of the car. And so, like, I've been like kind of researching just temperatures and effect of temperatures with electronics. And maybe it could be a temperature thing. You know, they say not to leave your laptop in the car ever because if it's too cold, condensation builds up in your equipment, and if it's too hot, obviously you destroy your battery cells, right? So, I was thinking, oh, when the weather changes, I can just leave my laptop in the car, not haul around everywhere. But so anyway, maybe. A lot is a long answer for a maybe. Maybe now that the weather is getting cold and I don't treat this room like a normal room. I only weather control it when I'm in it. Maybe that has something to do with it. But I'm well used to it by now. Even when I'm gaming, I listen to myself so I know where my pitch is at when I'm talking to everybody else on comms. And so I'm just kind of used to the delay.
Gotcha.
so he blames the production crew.
Maybe. Could be us. As good as it's going to get, though.
So anyway, back to the Steelers. No, this was a lot of fun. We got Highsmith back on the other side on defense, and that made a huge difference. If you didn't watch the game, it was closer when the score shows, especially in the first three quarters. That Jets offense is going to work. It is going to work. Like it's better than you think. We just kind of, we got there the first week it was coming together. I think that Jets offense is going to be really good. But we won. Feels great. I'm glad that Tomlin took the chance on Russ. I was all for it. And talking to my Steeler friends at work, I was in the minority, but I'm in the majority now. So
That's why you're a professional.
yeah. Felt good,
Highly
and we
trained
got
professional.
Monday night with the Giants, so that should be fun.
Okay, so as we move on into the games, I noticed that we do have a little bit higher viewer count than normal. Welcome to the podcast. If this is your first time,
morning,
we
guys.
do accept questions as we are going through these games. So feel free to just throw your questions in the comments if you have any, sit-ems or start-ems or whatever, and we'll give you our best opinion on what we think is going on with you. So first up, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns. The Baltimore Ravens are -8 with the over-under of 44.5. -395 is the money line on the Ravens, plus 310 if you're betting on the Browns. And I think historically, the Cleveland has won 34-11 when these two teams have faced. According to what I have here, the home game is for the Browns. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Cleveland.
yeah. So there you go.
So yeah, no Deshaun Watson. So
Yeah.
now it's time to get excited about Cleveland options, right?
Right? Well, it is because we got that
J-Bo
flailing arm
wins.
back there. Oh yeah,
J-Bo wins, baby.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. We got Jameis Winston back there, throwing to who? We got Judy
You know
out
what?
there.
I
We got
should have saved the jersey. I wore it this last week, so I had to wash
Tillman?
it. My Tillman jersey, yeah.
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 Yeah,
Cedric Tillman.
and props to you. You were talking to him, talking about him last week before he got his 12 targets.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay. I didn't even really remember the name until you said, you were talking about him on the podcast yesterday, and then I saw the 12 targets. I was like, okay, well, we know who's going to be part of this offense now with Cooper out.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And Browns fans should be too, because he's a beast of a kid. So it's going to be fun to see what him and Jameis Winston do this last half, because I think they're just going to let it rip,
Right? Why not?
And the Browns
what do they got to lose?
The Browns, it's super interesting. The Browns are like the fourth in the NFL in pass attempts. And last week, only 3 wide receivers had targets. They all had 8+ targets.
Wow.
So it was Tillman with 12, led the way, and then Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy both had 8.
Right.
And then Njoku had 12.
Yep.
So I think these are
Now,
all
Sorry, real quick. Winston, traditionally, is he a go to the tight end kind of guy? I mean, I
Yes.
picture him as a receiver.
Yeah,
guy.
it was actually really funny. He's a pretty smart dude. I saw this interview he did with somebody for like their podcast or something like that, and they asked him to name all of the tight ends that he's thrown touchdowns to, and he was able to do it. He's thrown touchdowns to a lot of tight ends.
You know, no, I think I saw that clip. Yeah,
It was
that's
like
right.
11 or something like that, and he got
I
them all.
forgot about that.
So yeah, it's David Njoku season for sure. And then I want to dive in on Tillman, but he still is young. And so now that he's had a game with 12 targets, there's going to be more of a focal point on him from the defensive perspective. And it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts to that, if he's still able to get open. I think he will. I'm curious to see if the Browns move him around, because he's a guy that can play inside and outside. And he's like when we talked about him last year when he was being drafted, I compared him a little bit to T.O. And the reason I did that is because you don't often see guys that are 6'3", 220 that can run inside and get free inside, and he was able to do that. He can bust up a defense inside. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be great. I don't think they're going to win today.
Oh no, they're going to lose. I mean, we're doing all this talking about them.
Yeah.
but this is more just for you can see what the offense is going to be, coming up. Now, I had one more question. Like, who is their downfield guy? Is their downfield guy Judy, and then Tillman is more the target guy up close, or?
So that's a good question.
Because right now I'm betting that it's Judy, but I could totally.
It's
got to
be Judy. It's because it's not Elijah Moore. And,
no, he's out of the equation. Elijah Moore sucks. He's had his chance. He's just not good.
And based on how they used him last week, it doesn't seem like that's the way they want to use Tillman. But he's young, so we'll see. Like, his route tree could expand quickly.
So just to sum it up, we've talked so much about this Cleveland offense. Are we both using it in DraftKings? Is that why?
Oh, Tillman Tillman is an automatic start. Like, if you're playing DFS, you have to be playing Tillman at $3,300.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And Judy is 43, which is
they're all playable.
Yeah, they're all.
Yeah, and this game should have points, because the Ravens do give up points. Even when they were dominating that game against Tampa Bay on Monday night, they ended up giving 30 points.
Yeah. So yeah, start up your Ravens. You're a little bit worried about Andrews.
I think I would stay away from Zay Flowers. Even if he plays today, he's got an injury that he's dealing with. I'd be more excited to start Rashad Bateman. And Bateman looks good.
He does.
And he's a first-round draft pick. He's somebody that, like, if you're making dynasty trades right now, if you're like just selling on dynasty, get him, like, bring him back in a deal where you're like, he looks like he's just a throw-in. It's something that I think is going to be positive going forward. I like where they're going on offense, and Derrick Henry.
Right.
So we're all going Ravens on this.
Yes,
one.
sir.
Okay.
Yeah, now on pace to break the single-season record.
Okay, next up we have Titans versus Lions. Titans plus 12.5. Over under is 45. Plus 525 if you're betting on the Titans, and minus 750 if you're betting on the Lions. Now, that plus 12.5 should be paired up with this historical fact that the Titans have won their last 6 meetings against the Detroit Lions and maintain a 10-3 overall record.
That's going to end today.
And their last meeting was December 20th, 2020, and the Titans won 46-25. The Detroit Lions are at home.
Yeah, the Lions are going to roll in this game.
Yeah,
for sure. There's no Tennessee just traded away Hopkins, and both of their running backs have injuries that they're dealing with. Tony Pollard missed a chunk of last week's game, and there's no Will Levis. And I know Mason Rudolph is a better game manager at this point in his career, but Will Levis is an exciting player to watch. And, like, things can happen while he's on the field. They're a more dangerous team when he's on the field. And I would be probably more excited to start the Lions defense in DFS
sure.
if Levis was playing, because he did, like Josh Allen early in Allen's career, lots of turnovers. So I would still start them. I don't think the Titans are going to be able to score very many points.
No, and
but
they're going to get
Rudolph
desperate.
is a better protector of the ball. So I think your chances of like a fumble touchdown recovery, off of a sack or like a pick six or something like that are a little reduced. But I would still start the Lions defense.
Yeah, but a pick six is definitely going to be available at the end of the game when he gets desperate, because they're going to be down by 20.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
And so
I
he's
agree.
going to have to throw down the field. And
there will be
that's
options,
when Mason
yes.
gets picked off. Trust me, I know. This is a quarterback I know, guys. Like, he is good for, like, if you need him to get 13 points, this is your guy.
Yep.
And he will not turn their ball over. You'll manage the clock. Everything will be run well. You'll get 13 points. If your defense can hold them to 10, you win. I mean, that's what Mason is. And that defense is not going to hold the Detroit Lions to 10. The Lions are going to roll and start them all.
So I totally agree. One thing that I'm most interested in this game is watching Traylon Burks, because it's a similar situation. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. He's on IR.
I was just going to say, your obsession with Burks, man. You always think he's going to be something. I'm just like,
Well, he's
proven
another
nothing.
one of he's flashed at times, and he's had some really unlucky injury situations, and sometimes those things do eventually pan out. Like there
you're right.
there are some metrics that suggest that you shouldn't completely give up on him. And when you look at like what's going on there, they've got a quarterback who's trying to figure it out. They're trying to build up their offensive line. They're completely rebuilding the team. There's reasons to give him a break, but
But they're running out.
but he's on. Yeah, we're running out. We're running out. He's on IR at a time where like this is where you'd want to shine. So I guess so we're looking at Nick Westbrook-Akine.
Yay.
Yay. And yeah, I wouldn't start any Titans. Not agreed.
Okay. So, and we might be moving a little fast because there's more games this week to talk about than last week by like a factor.
Slightly
2 or something.
late start.
and
And that's Ray telling us to hurry up. Got it.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Come on, guys, save it for the good games.
Next up, we got Green Bay Packers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Like this one.
The Packers are -3.5. The over/under is 49. -192 is the money line on the Packers, and +160 on the Jags. Let's see. They last met in 2020. The series overall is 5-2. The last team to win was Packers 24-20. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are at home.
All right. This one seems like a fun game as far as like points are going to be scored wise, especially fantasy points. So this looks like a fun fantasy game. I don't think it's going to be a fun real game. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to win by a couple of touchdowns. But
You never know. Jordan Love has been, very, very friendly to defenses. Like he's
yeah.
the score has remained close the last couple of weeks simply because he's turned the ball over. So if Jordan Love doesn't turn the ball over, which I predicted he wouldn't do last week, and he did it again, then I agree. But I honestly see this more of a like last person with the ball kind of game.
oh, I hope so, dude. I've got so much fantasy wise on this game.
Yeah. I think DFS, this is like my favorite game of the day.
I can see that. Yeah.
A lot of great options in here.
Yeah, one of my lineups is based on this game for sure.
Yeah, that's good. It's a smart play. I like the Packers.
Yeah.
I like what's
How
going
could
on
you
with the
not?
Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, and the team that they would have dominated last week had Jordan Love not turned the ball over was the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
So not the Texans were 5-1 rolling to Lambeau, and I'm glad I picked the Packers to win that game. But it was much closer than it should have been because he turned the ball over. So I think, and they're on the road today, so you can't. It's harder to get away with stuff like that on the road. Your team's just going to go through more mental mistakes than they would at home, so it becomes harder to overcome turnovers. So if he plays a clean game, which I think he's going to do today, I think the Packers will win. But I think it's going to be a shootout.
I hope so. I definitely hope so. One thing that we do need to talk about is ETN. Looks like he's going to be out. I don't think it's official yet, but the last thing I saw was
been expecting him to play.
Yeah, so we don't expect him to play. So I think Bigsby is going to be a good play.
Again.
He might have been even if ETN did play, but now that he has the backfield to himself, I think he has some real potential this week. So
What do you think about him rest of the season?
I think he and ETN will be split in like a 50-50.
So you're trying to sell high if you have him?
Or just use him, yeah, depending. Because like I want him in my lineup this week, so I'd want to use him this week, and then if you can sell him next week,
Would
sure.
you start him over Jordan Mason?
No, I think you have to start.
Would you
Mason
start
still.
him over Devon Achane?
No,
Okay.
no.
Those are my options in my other
Oh,
league.
okay.
So I have Walker, Achane, and Jordan Mason.
Oh my God, nice. Yeah. Okay, wait. As long as we're bragging, so who?
I'm not bragging. I'm 2-5 in that league. I'm so in redraft this year. I'm so snake bitten. But in half PPR dynasty, lost Godwin this week, lost Ayuk this week. 7-0.
Nice.
it's fantasy football. You figure it out.
What do we got, Ray?
Brian Thomas or Zay Flowers?
Brian Thomas. That's
Brian
not close.
Thomas.
Not even close.
Yes. Yeah, that guy is a monster. Like, if you haven't figured it out yet, like watching his
Yeah.
games, like this guy looks really good.
Yeah, there's people now that are like wondering if they should have taken him over Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, yeah. I traded for him in one of my leagues, and I'm so happy every
You
time.
murdered that trade. That's one of my
hope you're out
favorite
there, Cam.
trades ever. Oh,
So
man.
we're all
And he
going
was
Packers on this?
Yes.
Yeah, and he was so sour in the chat
Yeah.
room this week. That's so funny. Like he's like, I forgot. I should have said something about that trade when he put in the chat something about the league's asleep because of what you're doing. And it's like, you did it. You did it. You gave it to him.
Next up, we got the Colts versus the Texans. Colts are +5. Over-unders 45, +185 if you're betting on the Colts. -225 if you're betting on the Texans. Now, the Texans look like they lead this, and 33-12. But no, I think the Colts lead their history 33-12. But the Texans.
Oh, that makes more sense.
The
They
Texans
had to
have-
play Peyton Manning a lot.
The Texans have won 3 of the last 4 meetings. And that last meeting was September 8th, 2024. Okay, so this is their second time they're meeting today or this season, where the Texans barely beat the Colts 29-27.
That was opening day, right?
Sounds right.
And it looks like this game is played in Houston.
Yeah. I picked the Colts that day, I think.
Oh, I thought you said today. I was
No,
like, what?
today and today I'm not. And it's interesting because they're getting back Jonathan Taylor. And
And it's a divisional game. You
It's a-
never know what
it's-
happens in these games. You know what I
Right.
mean? I mean, Indy definitely has a shot today.
if they were at
But-
home, I'd like to pick them.
Right.
But the Texans are at home. They're coming off of a loss. There's no way I'm picking the Colts today.
Yeah, they got Mixon running again.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson starting?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Then, whew. Yeah, no.
Right.
Hey, it's not that he's bad.
He's learning.
When you watch him play, you're like, wow, you really haven't played a lot of football. It shows.
Yeah, and then he makes an 80-yard pass, and you're like, man, he's got talent.
If he plays some more football, this guy's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still like Anthony Richardson. He's just not there yet, and their offense in general is just a work in progress.
Right on.
So I'm not trying to start any of his receivers at all.
Just Taylor.
And even Taylor, like you've been moving along without him. If you've been winning without him, I would probably just leave him on the bench and see what he does today, rather than mess that up. Like if you've been waiting for him to get back, throw him in there.
All right, let me ask you a real life question then.
Oh, cool.
Would you put in Taylor in your flex, or Cooper, or McLaurin, or Chubb?
Amari Cooper.
You put Cooper over?
Yeah, I would play Amari Cooper.
Just his second week in that offense?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, hey, while we're on that subject, what did I say he was going to do last week? I didn't say that he was going to be great while he did score on a great catch. Looked
Right.
amazing. Like, that was, there's like 10 guys in the league that can make that catch. Keon Coleman, 100 yards and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid. What did he do last week? Was it like 6 for 70 something?
Yeah, it was like 14 fantasy points.
He had a great game. Yeah, and that was what I thought was going to happen was that, bless you, that Amari was going to come in and he was going to create some space, and the original boom that you were going to get was going to be an auxiliary boom from the players around him. And now, and I mean, just the simple play that he scored on, I think there's not a lot of there hasn't been times since Diggs has been gone that Allen throws to that portion of the field. He hasn't had guys winning in that portion of the field, and we're talking the middle of the field, like 10 yards deep from the line of scrimmage. It's an important place to win and attack with the football, and so I expect him to do that. I think that Amari Cooper is a top 20, top 15 guy the rest of the way. Right. So if you have the luxury of starting him in your flex, then start him in your flex. Otherwise, he should be your number 2, because you're probably going to tell me you're wide receiver 1 and 2 right now on that team, and I would tell you I'd start him over one of those 2 guys.
Let's see. Garrett Wilson and Drake London.
I would start him over both of those guys.
What?
Yep. We're talking. Hey, he's got
London has
we're
a
talking about the
fantastic
number
matchup.
1 target for Josh Allen. That's what we're talking about right now.
Nah,
and it's
before
Amari
I start-
Cooper.
Before I start putting him above names like that, I got to see it once.
How many points did he have last week?
Probably around the 14 range.
He only had like 4 catches or something like that.
that's what I'm saying.
But he had 4 catches for like 60 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the usage is going to go up. He didn't even spend a full week in town.
I agree, but he's not going to get a touchdown every week. So if he's
You say
6
that.
for 60 this
You
week
say
and looks
that.
great, that's fantastic. But I would have rather had Taylor in with, his 90 yards and a touchdown or whatever.
But Taylor's coming. It's his first week back from injury.
This is true. What was the injury? Do you remember?
Quad, I believe. I know it's a leg injury.
Yeah.
That's why I'm nervous.
Yeah. No, I'm nervous too. That's
And
why
he's been injured so much over the last 2 years. Like, he's come back in games from injury and left the game with injury. That's happened to us before. He doesn't get as much heat as Christian McCaffrey did, but he's doing the same thing ever since he got paid.
Yeah. So
we all going
on?
Texans on that?
I think we're all
Texans,
going
yes.
Texans. Yeah,
right.
we are in unison so far. This is crazy. We're gonna have to break this up next game.
Well, there's a lot of big favorites this week. So there's not a lot of close games.
I
to be called.
actually saw that, and I saw the over-unders, and I disagreed with a few of them.
Okay.
I thought,
well, let's figure out what they are.
Yes.
And in doing so, the next up we got Eagles versus Bengals, plus 2.5 for the Eagles. Over under is 47.5, plus 120 if you're betting on the Eagles, minus 142 if you're betting on the Bengals. The Bengals lead the all-time series against the Philadelphia Eagles, winning 9 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties. The last meeting was a tie, September 27th, 2020.
Crazy.
And it looks like the home game is in Cincinnati.
The Bengals were so bad for so long. How do they have a 9-3 lifetime record against the Eagles? That's crazy. I'm
lucky.
taking the Bengals. They're at home too. The Bengals are at home, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at home. They're the favorite. This is my upset this week. I think the Eagles are going to take this. T. Higgins is out, and that makes a big difference for this offense. And the Bengals just haven't quite put it together yet. And and neither have the Eagles, but they're playing well. They got the good pieces. Everybody's back. I think the Eagles win one on the road here. That's my underdog. Ray, who you got?
Bengals. Eagles have been on a slide.
Sorry,
This is your lone wolf.
Ow.
Yeah. Eagles have been on a slide this year. Bengals have still been able to remain competitive.
Hey, they dominated the Giants last week. They're good at that.
All right, are we moving on from this game? Or are we done?
I'm trying to think if there was anything interesting that people should know about this game, and other than Higgins not playing, I don't think
That's
so.
the big thing, yeah.
So that means you can start Josivas in
If
this
you
game.
have to.
He's been good.
He been okay. I mean,
He is fully like turned into Tyler Boyd. Like
Right.
if either Chase or Higgins are out, you should start him as a wide receiver three. As a wide receiver three.
I'm
And
saying
with
you
upside,
can start him. You're
with
saying
upside.
you should start him. So we're right there.
So next up is an interesting game, I think. New York Jets versus the Patriots. -7 on the Jets. Over-unders 41. -298 is the money line on the Jets. +240 if you're betting on the Patriots. Two teams have, the Patriots have dominated them 74 wins to 56 wins and 1 tie. But the Jets did snap their 15-game losing streak against the Patriots earlier this year with a 24-3 victory on September 19th. So I will be going Jets. This game is played in Foxborough today, but they've got a more seasoned quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and I think he, at some point, is going to get that offense rolling.
And
Against a weak offense, I'm going Jets.
And I think that's a good call. I'm going to go Jets too. I think this is going to be a Jets coming out party. Honestly, I think this offense is really going to get going, and against a good New England defense. I think they're going to show a little chemistry. I don't know. I really like Breece Hall in this game. I think
he's
the
in my
Jets.
DraftKings.
I'm worried about Devontae Adams in this game because he's going to be lined up against Gonzo, who, if you don't know, is Christian Gonzalez, the stud cornerback for the Patriots, second-year guy.
Okay.
Has like I think pretty sure he's the highest graded cornerback this season. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure he's up there. I know that he's close. So I don't know if Devontae Adams, like especially based on what we saw last week with Joey Porter Jr., I don't know if he's a guy that actually can just like dominate when he's being shadowed anymore. So I'm actually a little more excited about Garrett Wilson in this game than I am Devontae Adams. And definitely about Breece Hall. Like Breece Hall. Breece Hall.
Yeah. Are you taking the Jets?
Yes. I am taking the Jets. That's not close. Yeah.
Yeah. And the only thing on the other side is that Drake May has been looking good. It looks like he can complete some throws, and there might actually be some valuable pieces of that offense where we didn't think that 3 weeks
Drake
ago.
May looks great. To me, he looks like
So what are his big targets? Are we looking for Demario Douglas? Are we looking for?
they're all youngsters. That's why I know his biggest
Henry.
target is Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
And that's somebody you can start. Like if you need a tight end, and I feel it feels bad saying that because this has happened to us before with Hunter Henry, where he's just obscure, sitting on the waiver wire all season long, and then puts together 2 monster games in a row, and then as soon as you pick him up, back to obscurity. Doesn't get hurt. Just completely falls off of the game plan map. And so I am worried from that perspective. But this is a little bit of a different situation because you've got a rookie quarterback who's using him as a security blanket. And May looks good.
Yeah.
And you know his receivers are going to be locked up.
Yeah.
Because you've got, Sauce out there. So those are the only pieces I would want to start. I wouldn't want to start Ramondre in this game because I think they're going to be chasing points. But I think Drake May with his running ability is like if you're playing 2 quarterbacks is a start.
Yeah. I was like, all right, 2
You're like,
quarterbacks.
where's he going with this one?
Yeah.
If you're playing Superflex, he's definitely a top 24 quarterback for sure.
I can see that. Interesting. And I just want to say, in my best ball leagues, I have Hunter Henry and Cade Otton everywhere, and I feel really good about it.
That is really good.
Because I have them together. Because I just, you're at the end, you're just gluing
Just
a
take
tight
two
end
tight ends,
together. And
Yeah, that's really
Anyway.
funny.
So next
right.
up, we got the Falcons versus the Bucks. This is a close spread, -1.5. Over/unders 47. -122 if you're betting on the Falcons. +102 if you're betting on the Bucks. Now these two teams are tied at 31 games winning apiece in their historical
nice.
Oh, that's
matchups.
awesome.
The last time these two met were last year, October 1st. The
No,
Falcons.
they just played a couple weeks ago. That was the game with Kirk Cousins, 500 passing yards. They
Okay.
played on Thursday night.
Okay. But this one is played in Tampa Bay. Is that
Yes.
accurate? Okay.
This is one of the games where I think the over-under is off. And it's interesting because when I looked at it yesterday, it was like 45.5. So it's gone up. And the reason I think it's off is, first of all, Baker Mayfield is adjusting to not having Mike Evans or Chris Godwin
Right.
out there. Rashad White has been injured. Bucky Irving might not play today. And
Last report I saw said he was in.
Okay. And so, yeah, don't start any of the Buccaneers running backs until we figure out what's going to happen today. I wouldn't. I could see why somebody might. You know, I've been hearing a lot of talk about, like, this should be good for Rashad White, but it's like,
Doesn't he seem necessary?
if those
at this point?
receivers aren't able to do anything, then the running backs aren't going to be able to do much either. And you're talking about starting a running back who catches 5 passes for 14 yards and gets you 8 points in PPR, you know? So that's not necessarily a situation that I want to get into.
You don't think he's going up to 7 catches? You don't think he's really getting the ball?
Huh?
I don't know. I feel like he's got to be a bigger part of this offense with those receivers out.
The only player that I am interested in starting in this game is Cade Otton.
Right.
Like, Baker Mayfield has been so good with his legs that I wouldn't go away from Baker yet, but there could be a dramatic effect on the amount of points that Baker's able to produce without these guys.
All right.
And Evans won't be back for a month.
So asking for a friend. If you had this choice in your flex position and you're facing an opponent where you're favored to win, you just need to steady points.
Uh-huh.
Do you put Rashad White, Romeo Dobbs, or JSN?
Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah, that's who I've been torn between all week. I had Dobbs in there all week, and then this morning I talked myself into White just because of the arguments we were just saying. Just the
weather's
wide
also
receivers are
bad
gone.
in this game. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there's rain in this game.
All right.
That's the
Talk me
reason.
into
That was
it.
the biggest reason I didn't like the over/under. Is I'm pretty sure the weather in Florida is not good this weekend.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I mean, my friend thanks you.
Not Steve though.
Oh, who? Okay, Vike. Is that who I'm playing?
Yeah, Oklahoma Vikings.
Okay. Oh, and you put HN in for him this morning?
Yeah, he
Okay.
called me yesterday.
Okay. Cameron was flipping out. He's like, if he doesn't change his lineup on you, I'm going to quit this league. I can't believe, he's just
What?
when Cam gets hyped up, he gets
Oh.
hyped up. But he was just saying because we're in the same division. He needs me to lose.
Uh-huh.
So he's just like, HN better be in that
he
lineup.
wanted
you know
HN
what I mean?
in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
because-
yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Cam. I got you, buddy. Anything for Brian to lose, you know.
I love Cam.
So where we all landing on
Do
this?
you want me to take some of Brian's players out? I could do that. I have those powers.
Where we all landing on this game?
This is the toughest one for me.
I like Atlanta.
I'm gonna stick with Tampa Bay.
Okay.
I actually like their pieces that are going to come up. I'm a fan of Trey Palmer. I'm a fan of Jalen McMillan, and I'm a fan of a guy who's not getting talked about at all yet. Who I need to check and make sure he's going to play today is Raheem Jarrett. Was drafted in the same round as Trey Palmer last year. I think he got drafted first, and he's the same size and stature as Stephon Diggs, is also from Maryland, and broke all of his records.
Nice.
He's a very interesting kid. He tore his ACL last year on like a 41-yard catch, like made a spectacular catch. And I was thinking about that like this morning. It's like, so he tore his ACL on his play where he dove for the ball. So he had to have like been feeling the pain in his knee already when he made the catch. So like that's an impressive play.
Toughness. I got you.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. You know, it
and
sucks
I
that we
definitely
lost
see your
Godwin.
point.
It sucks that we don't have Evans, but they've got some really talented young guys that they've already shown that they like. All of these guys have gotten playing time, so I'm excited to see what happens.
But I'm going to take the offense that's already come together and is starting to show that they're really something, rather
didn't
than
play
the
well
offense
last
that is
week.
trying to come together. So I'm going to take Atlanta.
Good. You're lone wolf on that one.
Nice. God,
Next
I got some
up, we
good
got the
ones.
Cardinals versus Miami. +4. Over-unders 46.5. +164 for the Cardinals. -188 if you're betting on the Dolphins. 10-3. Arizona has the historical record of 10-3. The last time they met was November 8th of 2020, where the Dolphins beat the Cardinals. And this is going to be played. This game's going to be played in Florida, where Miami historically has an edge in their home stadium.
This is not a good situation for Cardinals and Cardinals fans. I don't think.
Tua's back, baby.
Tyreek is back.
That's what
like.
but see, Tua's back means that all your Miami options are all of a sudden options again.
Yes.
You had to shut everybody down for the last, 5 weeks?
6
You know what
weeks
I mean?
or so, I think.
Yeah, so if you're the Tyreek Hill owner,
You shut them down right in the middle of game 2.
if you're the Tyreek Hill owner, I hope you got 3 wins, so you're still in the running. You know what I mean? And now you've got your star back, and man, Tyreek Hill, Achan, everybody's going to look good today. Miami's going to look great, and Arizona, we'll see. We'll see if they can keep up a little bit.
The forecast has shifted a little bit, so both of these games are supposed to be dry. About 80, 85 degrees, somewhere between 5 and 15 mile an hour winds, some clouds in the skies, but they should be dry. So, like, if I hope I didn't scare anybody away from like kickers or anything like that, they should be fine. God, I'm hoping the Dolphins just like go for the all-time record in points.
Well, I did start a lot of Dolphins in my DraftKings. So
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too, and no Cardinals. And yeah, so on that, before we leave this game, we should definitely talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. Where are we at on Marvin Harrison Jr.? Because I'll tell you right now, in my other league, my other redraft league, I sat him, and I'm starting Cedric Tillman and Keenan Allen today.
Wow.
He's going to have Jalen Ramsey on him. And you know what? Here's the thing. I want to make sure I make this very clear. It's not about Marvin Harrison Jr. as much as it is about Kyler Murray. Everybody knows that the new Call of Duty just came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, hopefully he's gotten the Call of Duty out of his system. But.
And what I want to bring up is that when you look at his outputs for the season, he has 2 games where you're like, would have been super happy to start him. Both of those games were against divisional opponents that he's seen many times. He knows exactly what they're doing. I think there might be some reality to his problem with studying and his ability to process information on Sunday because he didn't study enough during the week. Because it really feels that way. Like their offense just does not really click.
No, not yet.
And then inexplicably, they were great against San Francisco a few weeks ago.
That's true. But there was a lot of circumstances in that game, too. There's a lot of weird bounces and calls.
There were some turnovers on the San Francisco side for sure. San Francisco probably would have still won that game if they hadn't turned the ball over. But the Cardinals' offense went blow for blow with them. And it doesn't make, based on everything else you've seen this season, it doesn't make any sense. So until Kyler plays well against a non-divisional opponent, I'm very uninterested in Kyler and Kyler's targets.
Sorry, I'm going to break in with some news here because there's actually some newsworthy stuff going on. Alan Lazard is inactive. Just something that might be a piece. ETN is also inactive.
Yay.
So ETN's out. Tyreek Hill officially in. Bucky Irving is in, which is contrary to other reports I had heard. So Bucky Irving is going to play. What was the other one? Zay Flowers is in. And then T. Higgins out. I'll let you know if I see any other big ones. But
So I'm
wanted to throw
picking
those out there.
Miami for this game. Where's everybody else landing?
And Raheem Jarrett is going to play today.
Yes.
All right. So everybody knows my guy. This one's going to play. He did have a full week of practice too, but they were still up in the air whether or not they were going to activate him.
All right. So who you guys going?
Dolphins. That's not even a question.
Yeah, Dolphins.
Okay. So we are at the point where we have the 1 o'clock games coming up. Do we want to read our DraftKings lineup?
Yeah, we can do that now.
So I'll go first. I have it pulled up already. Here's the one that my fear is Knicks. I picked Knicks at quarterback. Denver going against Carolina. I'm hoping he does something.
You're starting Bo
solid.
Nix?
Yes. And then running back Jay Dobbins, Jay Williams for my wide receivers, the Tyreek Hill, Tyler Lockett because Geno Smith is out.
You mean you're talking about DK? DK's out.
What did I say?
Geno.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then Waddle for my last receiver, and then tied in. I'm picking Otten, Tampa Bay against Atlanta, and Brees Hall for the New York Jets, with the Bears defense going up against the Washington Commanders for 2,700.
All right. And for mine, I am going with Jordan Love at 7,100. My running backs are Achane at 62 and Kareem Hunt at 6,300. I've got Jaden Reed to stack with Jordan Love at receiver at 6,700, which I feel is a really good deal for a guy who's been putting up top 10 numbers.
Agreed.
Then I've got Brian Thomas Jr. stacked back against them. And then I'm saving my money with Cedric Tillman at 3,300. I've also got K. Dotton at 3,500, and I feel like he's just going to, get a bunch of targets. And then in my flex, I actually just made a change. I had T. Higgins, but T. Higgins isn't going to play, so I was able to flex into Garrett Wilson.
Nice.
And then I will play the Lions defense at home against Tennessee.
How much that cost?
3,800.
Yeah, you paid up for that. Man.
The defensive starts are bad this week.
Yeah.
On the low end. Usually there's one good dart throw around $2,500 where you're like, oh yeah, I could definitely see a scenario where this could play out well, and none of them this week.
That's
There was
funny
one
because
that I thought-
my dart throw is the Bears. I thought maybe against the
No, that's a good
Commanders.
one. There's no Jaden Daniels. That's a decent one.
Do we know there's no Jaden Daniels?
Let's
I've
confirm
been
that.
waiting for a report on Jaden Daniels. Last I saw, we think he's going to play.
My expectation
the
has
big
been
one
that
that
he
I'm
wasn't
waiting
going
for.
to play.
Okay.
Sorry.
While I do mine, if you could try to look that up, I'd appreciate it.
Yes.
All right. I feel like there's a few free squares this week, and K. Dotton, which we all have, is one of them. I think you need to be starting Cade. Like, for the amount of targets he's going to get at 3,500, it's a freebie. And Cedric Tillman, I think, is the other one at 3,300. I mean,
Yeah.
in your
Agreed.
cash lineup.
What was the first freebie you said?
K. Dotton?
Yeah. Agreed.
And then a couple that are close, Brees Hall and also Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill at 7,000. That's just not a deal you're going to see ever again. You don't get Tyreek
Yeah.
Hill for 7,000.
It'll be 9 next week.
Yeah, well, 85 at least. You know what I mean? So, so I love Hill there. I did start Jordan Love as well, and I am stacking him with Reed. So definitely like that stack. I'm coming back with Tank Bigsby because
Okay,
he's got all the
interesting.
work. I'm going to do that. I feel like he's going to break off a couple of runs. He's really good at making those big chunk runs, and
strong
I
dude.
really expect 2 30-plus yard runs today.
Expects 230+ yard runs. Tank.
That's right. Make it happen. And my flex is Brian Robinson Jr. And if you noticed, I spent a whole lot of money. So my defense is I was trying to fit in Atlanta defense, which is 2,600, because I figure Atlanta with Laser
That's
Mayfield,
not a terrible one at all.
you know what I mean? I feel at the bottom of the barrel, I thought that was a good one, but I couldn't fit him in. So I went bottom of the barrel with the Raiders D. They are playing
Hey,
Kansas City. Mahomes hasn't been playing great. He's been giving up some interceptions. This is a
That's
divisional
true.
game.
He's leading
Las
the league in
Vegas is at
interceptions.
home. Like this is actually could be a thing. Hopefully they'll get me.
That's
10
interesting.
points.
Doesn't like historically
Super funny.
too the Raiders give the Kansas City fits?
Yes,
They
once,
do. They're the
once
last
a
team
year.
to beat them.
Yeah.
Once a year they beat them.
They are the last team to beat them.
So
One thing I want to say real quick about
Mm-hmm.
that before we move on is I called Mahomes turning into Brett Favre years ago. And we're there. We're there.
we'll see. It's a little early. A little early for
He's
that.
certainly gonna. If they go all the way to the Super Bowl and win, he certainly had a lot of help this year. If
Yeah,
that's
well,
the
that's for
case,
sure.
and you know what I mean. Some
Last
of
Their
them are
defense
zebras.
has been fantastic.
Yeah, that defense. Has been
And I
amazing.
mean, and the refs. Whew,
Yeah,
man, they're
zebras.
clutch.
He's got a lot of zebra help.
All right. So Jaden Daniels, as of 22 minutes ago, confirmation on status to arrive soon.
Yay!
It says here at 12:45. So we'll be with you for the next 10 minutes, and we'll update that as soon as
soon
if
as
it
we
becomes available before game time.
What's the question?
Worthy or Keon Coleman?
Ooh, that's a
Ooh,
good
that's a
one.
rough one.
I like Keon Coleman. I like Keon Coleman a lot. I'm a Florida State fan, so take that with a grain of salt. But we're having a bad year, so I just get that out.
Yeah, and
before.
I think that offense is going to open up. He's got some chances, and Worthy, honestly, I mean, he 1 in 6 games. Worthy is going to be good. So if you think this is that 1 in 6, if you want to play that Russian roulette,
and I
go
wouldn't
ahead,
do
but-
it with them getting a brand new toy this week. Like I
Agreed.
feel like if there's going to be something cute that happens in the red zone this week, it's going to go to Hopkins.
Right.
So next up, we got the Bills. Oh wait, are you guys gonna do tournament?
Oh, tournament lineup.
Are you guys-
Yeah,
I'll throw one out
I
there
got
real
one.
quick.
I got one of those.
Yeah, mine's a little wild. I'm going crazy. I'm shooting for the moon here,
Really?
which you have to do a little
You're
bit
shooting
in
for
tournaments.
the moon. Shooting for the moon. So
All right.
hold on a second. He's going to shoot for the moon. So are you starting a backup court? You starting Jameis Winston?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I nailed that one. That's
Yes, sir.
see how these two know each other. That's what the.
And like we talked about earlier, I'm going to have him thrown to Jerry Judy. I figure if there's going to be some long balls, it's going to go to Judy. I
like
so
that.
I'm
I like
pivoting away from Tillman for Judy in this one.
Shoot, should I start Judy? I have him in my lineup for sleeper.
Depends on who it's over.
Yeah, agreed.
So Brees Hall, again, free square. I just can't get away from him. Ken Walker. I love Ken Walker. With the money I saved with Jameis and Judy, getting Ken Walker into the lineup feels real good. Going up against a poor run defense. And, man, Ken Walker's starting to get involved in the passing game as well. He's going to be a top 5 running back at the end of the year if he stays healthy. Rashad Bateman is cheap at $4,300. We talked about him earlier. Ken talked him up. Tyreek Hill, still, I got to play him at $7,000. K. Doughton, still the free square. And I fit Tank Bigsby in there. And I loaded up on my defense. I went with the Broncos, spending $3,700.
Ooh, nice.
Taking some chances.
There you go. All right. This is going to look similar to my cash lineup because I'm all in on the Dolphins today. But I've got Tua and Tyreek Hill paired up in this one. I've got Josh Jacobs and Javonte Williams as my running backs. I've got Brian Thomas Jr. in this one as well. I've got Cedric Tillman in this one as well. My tight end, though, in this one is Tucker Kraft. So I'm kind of double stacking games here. I'm stacking in the Miami-Arizona game, and I'm stacking in the Jacksonville-Green Bay game. Those are the games that I feel the most confident in getting fantasy points in. And my flex is James Conner at $6,500. And then I went with the Chargers defense at $3,300. They've got, I'm a huge fan of Spencer Rattler, but I don't like the hand he's been dealt.
Yeah, agreed there.
So had I known about Cup and Nakua, I would have sat Atwell.
Yeah, that makes sense.
and
But he
then
scored, didn't he?
No, he didn't. And
Oh, no, he had a big play.
he had a big play, but he didn't score. But right now I have my Judy on my bench, and I think I should leave Diggs in, so that would leave Allen, K. Allen, as my wide
Keenan.
receiver
Keenan Allen.
I
and
would
Judy?
start Keenan Allen today for
Okay.
sure.
over Judy.
Yeah.
All right. So
yes.
let's leave.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. It's actually closer than I would think, but I still go
It
Keenan.
is close, yeah. But Keenan Allen showed that him and Caleb are building that connection. Like I think that he had missed a couple weeks, and then before their bye, he played and scored twice, which is that's huge for a young quarterback to find the same guy twice in a game. And Keenan Allen is one of those guys that can just all of a sudden start getting 13 targets a game, and you don't want to miss out on that. They've had the week off to work together. The schedule lines up really good for them going forward. It makes a lot of sense for them to start throwing to Keenan Allen.
Okay, so next up, Buffalo versus Seattle. Buffalo's -3, over-unders 45, -162 if you're betting on the Bills, +136 if you're betting on the Seahawks. Historically, all-time leading Buffalo Bills. Seattle leads the Bills, 8 wins to 6 losses. But the Bills did win their last meeting in 2020, 44-34. And this week, they are playing in Seattle.
And we've talked a lot about a lot of these pieces already, so we don't need to go too in depth here. But yeah, I think with the new toys, Buffalo is going to be good. I'm going to take Buffalo here.
Also taking Buffalo. Yeah, I like what I thought that was just like the best move that we've seen so far this season was them getting Amari Cooper. Steal.
I wish we could have got him.
Yeah, but him plus Josh Allen. I mean, that is just if you're a Josh Allen manager, you had to have just dropped to your knees and thank God.
Yes, for sure, because you were so worried before.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good. He was looking like he was going to have a season with under 20 touchdown passes.
Yeah,
and that's not going to happen now.
Agreed.
Okay, so next up we have New Orleans versus the Chargers. The New Orleans are +7, over-unders 41.5, +260 if you're betting on the Saints, -325 if you're betting on the Chargers. The Chargers lead the all-time series against New Orleans, 7 wins to 6 losses, but not by that much. Last time they met was in 2020, where the Saints won in overtime. Let's see here, and the Chargers are hosting in SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, I like the Chargers in this game at home.
Yeah, for sure.
They've been playing great defense. If you think back to that Thursday night game where Spencer Rattler just kept getting harassed by the Denver Broncos, I think that you're going to get another game like that. Yeah. Poor Spencer.
Yeah, he got put in a tough spot, that's for sure. But yeah, it's hard to start. The only one you can really start is Kamara. Other than that, you don't want to start anybody on the Saints.
Yeah, and on that same roster where I told you I was sitting Harrison Jr. for Keenan Allen and Tillman, I also have Olave.
Ouch.
And so I'm sitting Olave and Harrison Jr. today.
Yeah.
And it feels bad, but it feels right.
Yep. Yes and yes. So,
Brian,
roll.
You're going Chargers too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next up, we got Chiefs versus the Raiders. The Chiefs are -8.5. The over/under is 42. -395 if you're betting on the Chiefs, and +310 if you're betting on the Las Vegas Raiders. The Kansas City Chiefs lead the all-time series, 66 wins to 53 losses. However, they have won the 4 of their last 5 matchups.
But not the last one.
And they're playing in Las Vegas today.
Yeah. So, would you start Patrick Mahomes today or Russell Wilson tomorrow?
Wow.
Asking for a friend.
How healthy is the New York Giants defense? Do you know?
Not at all.
Chance? Not at all healthy?
No, Thibodeau's on IR.
Wow. It would depend. It would depend on where I'm at. If I really
need points.
I need points. I'm probably going Russ. If I need steadiness, I'm going with Mahomes. Crazy, huh?
He's looking at me like
that's his quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Top Gun. That was perfect. Thanks, guys. You played around great.
So you think I should start Wilson because I need points?
If you're the underdog right now,
he's playing against
then
Slim.
I would start Wilson.
He's up against Shady.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd take
Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, James Conner, DJ Moore, Jaden Reed, Hunter Henry. He just picked up Hunter Henry.
You need to hit the jackpot.
So start Russell.
Oh, actually, there you go. That's how you know Hunter Henry's going to work out is because Slim picked him up. There you go. Everybody wants to know, like, this guy, everything he touches on the waiver wire turns to gold. He makes like 6 transactions a year.
So go with Russell Wilson. All right, making the switch. You guys haven't let me down this season yet. Actually,
Oh,
you
man,
guys
I
made
hope-
some.
that one's a
Oh
really
yeah,
tight
no,
one. I hope
we
we're right
we
on
helped
that
him
one.
with the win last week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
And the week
that?
before that too.
Yeah,
nice.
So like I've been listening to you. You know what I mean? That's kind of why I'm here. So there's like a live person to listen to what you guys are saying.
and it's working out.
So I will make the switch. I will bench Mahomes for Wilson. And we'll see how that plays out. I'm already an underdog by like 60%.
And that's what I'm saying is like if you actually just needed like 18 points, then just play Mahomes. But if you need a guy that can score 30 this week, Russ is a better shot.
Okay, so we'll see
Right
if
on.
that plays out. That'll be exciting to see next week. I still may not win because of the Atwell thing, but we'll see what happens.
Well, your opponent did start the Vikings defense, so that helps.
That helps a lot. Let's
Yeah.
see if the Ravens can do something extra.
Let me see if I can find a.
We're all going KC, right?
Yes, sir. But I do think there's that outside shot that this is the time that that Las Vegas puts it together. You never know, but definitely taking KC.
Okay, so Carolina versus Broncos. Carolina's plus 11, over unders 40.5. Plus 425, the money line on the Panthers, minus 575 on the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have won 3 out of the last 5 meetings against the Carolina Panthers, and they lead the all-time series overall. The last time these two teams met was 2022, where the Panthers won 23-10. And the home game this week will be held at Empower Field at Mile High in Denver, Colorado.
It's called Empower Field now.
Yeah.
What happened to Invesco, man?
This here is the massacre of the week.
Oh
Denver,
yeah, it looks
Denver
that way.
is
It
going
would
to
be so funny if
absolutely
it's not.
crush.
I'm gonna laugh so bad if it's not.
It's possible.
The NFL is crazy.
You're right. Weird things happen.
The players are so talented now, and the teams are so deep that like momentum. I know there's a lot of people that don't believe that momentum is a real thing. It's a real thing, and like you just get like a break, and a lucky play, and you can be off to the races. And the Broncos have a rookie quarterback. So you've got Bryce Young as the most experienced quarterback in this game. And I'm not going to get anywhere close to talking myself into picking the Panthers, but I am getting more and more interested in them by the week, especially if they move Deontay out and then Xavier Legette gets to absorb more targets. Super excited about where that's going.
Deontay is out.
Jonathan Brooks practiced all week long, but their plan has been to bring him back next week, week 9. So things are getting better. If Bryce Young plays well, I think as a Panthers fan, you can start to get excited.
Yeah. If he plays well against the possibly best defense in the NFL.
Yeah,
So,
especially
I mean,
then.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what he has to do. So it's a tall order.
Hey, man, you know what? He played at Alabama.
All right.
And our last
It's got to be tough.
Our last afternoon matchup is the Bears versus the Washington Commanders. Bears are plus 1, over under is 46, minus 105 if you're betting on the Bears, minus 115 if you're betting on the Commanders. The Chicago Bears have a competitive history against the Commanders, winning 13 out of their last 20 meetings. Last time these two teams met was in 2023, where the Bears won 40-20.
DJ Moore destroyed them that game.
And this is a home game at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland.
Can you get any more info on Jaden Daniels?
I looked just a second ago,
Yeah, I
and
was
there
trying
was
to
not an
update mine,
update
too.
yet.
That doesn't sound right.
I'm really hoping he actually does play today, because this is the afternoon game. There's still nothing yet that I want to sink into. I want to sit down and I want to watch QB1 versus QB2. In terms of the rookie quarterbacks. They're both playing great. I think Caleb Williams is actually playing at a higher level than Jaden Daniels is, and Jaden Daniels is just getting all of the hype right now because the Commanders have had a little more success, but not that much more. And I think they're going to lose this game. I think the Bears are going to win.
Wow.
You know, I'm on that same side, and I that's one of the reasons why I picked them for DraftKings. I don't see Commanders pulling this win.
And I think Caleb Williams is fantasy QB1 the rest of the way.
Wow. I can see that. I mean, he definitely has the weapons around him. We talked about that at the beginning of the year. And then he just didn't put it together for a while, and now he's putting it
didn't
together.
take that long.
No, I agree.
It really didn't.
It's just that we were comparing him to Jaden Daniels. It's just like, whoa.
Well, Jaden Daniels has done more with his feet and has had some more explosive plays, but I feel like he's also had a softer schedule.
I agree with all that. I'm just saying 2 weeks ago, all the talk is Jaden Daniels and, oh, what's wrong with Caleb? And now it's like, oh, maybe he's still a good quarterback.
Well, this guy has started him in week 5 everywhere. So and this is coming off of week 4. He's had 2 back-to-back, I think, 30-point fantasy performances. I'm pretty sure. The last
2 good
game,
ones anyway.
Huh?
Yeah. 2 good ones for sure.
And well, he was QB1.
Yeah.
The
Really?
last game.
Overall?
Yes.
Okay.
He was actual QB1.
That was last week, right?
That was week 5. That was the.
There was a week where it's just like nobody did anything.
I remember
It was weird.
it was the week that the Seahawks and 49ers played on Thursday night because Purdy put up like 30 points in that game, like 28 or 30 points and 6 point. And I was lamenting over the fact that I had chosen to start Caleb over him.
I remember that.
And then Caleb went, in London, I think it was, right? Yeah, in London.
Sounds right. Yeah.
And put up 37 points or something like that in fantasy. So he can do it internationally. I went for as out as I was on drafting him number 1 overall from a franchise perspective. I am that in on him right now in fantasy football. I think
Nice.
if he's available to anybody who might be listening, go get him now, right now.
Right.
So are you going, Brian? Where are you going? Bears or Commanders?
I'm updating the injury screen here, trying to figure out if Jaden Daniels is going to play. Everything is positive for Daniels right now, so I'm going to assume he's playing, and I'm going to take the Commanders.
3 lone wolves so far, Brian. Good job.
Whoa.
You lone wolfing for all of us today. Next up is the
So we're either going to get way behind or we're going to catch up.
Yeah. The next matchup is the evening matchup, the Dallas Cowboys versus San Francisco 49ers. +6 if you're betting on the Cowboys. Over-under is 48. +205 if you're betting on the Cowboys. -250 if you're betting on the Niners. Now, the Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers have a storied rivalry with the 49ers leading the all-time series 15-14-1.
Really?
Yes, the Cowboys can equal the series record with a win this Sunday. Both teams have met frequently in high-stake games, including the playoffs in the past 2 seasons, with the 49ers winning both matchups. The last meeting took place on January 21st, 2023 in the NFC divisional round, where the 49ers won a close game 19-12. This game will be played in Santa Clara, California today.
Tough
go
game to
Cowboys.
choose.
Let's
This is
go.
the toughest game for me to choose right here. This is
Not
a hard
for
one.
me. It's easy choice.
Really? Who you picking?
Gee, who am I picking?
Oh God. 2 teams that I really enjoy watching lose, and I have to pick one of them to win, huh?
Yep.
I need the 49ers to lose, so I'm going to go Cowboys this game.
Well, you know what? I'm going to take 4 lone wolves. Give it to me.
Nice.
Dang, I love that.
That's awesome.
I love that
And we don't
setup.
We didn't come up with a hat bet.
Not yet. No.
No, we haven't really disagreed on anything in particular enough yet, right?
Yeah, nothing that was too. The Panthers. You want to bet on the Panthers?
I do not. Meow.
So after that, we roll into our Monday night game, which is the New York Giants versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the New York Giants are +6. Over-under's at 36, plus 200 if you're betting on the Giants, minus 245 if you're betting on the Steelers. I hope that the Pittsburgh Steelers puts up the 36 points themselves, right, now that I'm starting Russell Wilson. The Pittsburgh Steelers have historically dominated the series against the New York Giants, winning 31 of the 78 matchups. The Giants lead the all-time series with 44 wins. The last time these two teams faced off was in 2020 when the Steelers won the game 26-16. And this week's the home game will be at Pittsburgh.
Okay, I will say that the over-under of 36 makes me feel a little bit leery about my advice to you about Russell Wilson. So
The weather is going to be fine.
yeah,
So
36 seems low, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
It
would bet
doesn't
the
seem
over.
like there
It
should be
feels
a higher.
low.
I'd
Yeah.
bet the over on that.
I feel like it too. I really think we're going to put up 20-plus points, and
I think you're going to get a defensive score in this game.
yeah, and Malik Neighbors is in there. I mean, they're going to be able to move the ball. I don't know. I'm like, if I had to predict the game, I'd put it something like 28 to 17 or something like that. So anyway, that's
Would
me.
you start Tyler Algier or Tyrone Tracy?
Algier? I'd take Algier. Well, wait. How much of the backfield does Tracy have right now?
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah. He played 67% of the snaps last week compared to Singletary, who came back without an injury designation and had 15% of the snaps. And he ran well. It's just that he didn't get very many carries because they were down the entire game.
Yeah, but they're going to be down the entire game again. So.
I agree. I feel like he
That's a
doesn't
tough
have a
one.
chance. I feel like his chances to score are lower than Algier's, and that's kind of why I lean that way. But Algier is not getting a ton of the work.
No, you can put him down for 8 to 10 touches.
Yeah,
And that's rough. Whereas Tracy is probably going to get 10 to 15, but lower quality. So
yeah. And the games where the Falcons are behind, Algier has not been very good.
right,
Okay, yeah, I think I'd go Tracy.
it's close.
Ken, are you going Steelers?
I am.
Okay, and last
I got to pick against all the NFC East teams.
and last and Ken's least, the Thursday night game, Texans versus the Jets.
That's a good game. That's a good
Yeah,
game.
That is
And
pretty
we
fun.
got a +1 over under of 43.5, a money line of -108 for the Texans, and the money line is -112 for the Jets. I don't have anything to read on this team, so
Well, and like I say, it's the Thursday game. It's hard to predict.
Yep.
So much is going to happen between now and then.
The Jets are at home,
But
though.
if you make me pick now, I'm going to pick the Jets.
Same.
okay, I will pick the Texans.
That's a good lone wolf.
Bezzy's on the Texans, too. How about that?
Ooh, I snuck in a lone wolf. It's
And
a
hey,
Thursday
look.
night game, but oh well.
None for me?
No, you didn't sneak one in this
All right,
week.
sweet. So everybody has to suffer with me when I lose.
All right. So since we got a couple minutes here, let me just read the DraftKings scores. Myself, I have a total of 880 points with an average of 125.769. Ken, you're at 873.18 with an average of 124.74. And Brian's leading the pack at 906.58 total with an average of 129.511. The pick'em scores,
All within 40 points, though, after 7 weeks is pretty good.
Very close, yeah.
For the pick'em scores, I am leading by 2 with 66 wins. Ken, you're at 53.
This is terrible.
Brian, you're at 64. So if all your lone wolf picks hit, or you need 3 lone wolf picks to hit, and you'll probably solidify that. And then Bezzy is at 51, but he missed a week. So we got one question here before we end it. Algier or Jalen Warren?
Oh, that's an interesting
Warren
one.
is a more fixed piece of the offense here. And this is a game they're going to have the leads. Warren's going to get more touches and better touches. I'd go Warren there.
Yeah, I agree. Algiers just too hit and miss
Yep.
in terms of getting valuable touches. So yeah,
All
I
right.
go Jalen Warren too.
Good luck, everybody.
So that has it. So the default hat bet is who gets a better DraftKings score, correct?
Yep.
All right. So thank you all for joining us. We will see you all next time.
All right.
Crush it, guys. That's game.
Happy football.